You will not fail. You see, you are right now so afraid to start over again. You are so afraid to start new project, to start that new relationship, to start working on your health because you are afraid of failing. And most of the time you have probably hold your life for many years back because you are afraid that you're gonna fail. And you are not alone. Most of people are afraid of failure. There are some people, they are not afraid of failing. They see failure as a lesson in the life for them to learn to become better. But for some people, the word fail, they don't even want to hear it because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Sometimes because maybe they have failed in the past. You may be wondering, what guarantee me to tell you that you will not fail? Well, I'll explain to you. The only way that you can fail in that project or in that thing that you're thinking of starting is if you're trying to do everything alone. When you're trying to do everything by yourself, there is a possibility that you will fail. However, if you are trying to do whatever you're trying to do with God's presence in it, it's a guarantee that you will not fail, because you and God cannot fail together. God is not a failure. There is no way in the Bible, in the word of God, that way we see that God fell. God is not a failure. So the only time you will fail as a child of God is when you do things in your own mighty, in your own power, in your own strength. That's the time you are 50-50, you can fail. But with God, it is not possible. With God in the situation, you will not fail, because God is going to direct you when something is not right. God is going to inspire you what needs to be changed, what needs to be done. God is going to show you and tell you when the devil is trying to come and destroy, to kill, and be completely destroy everything. God is going to show you so you can change direction. So I'm telling you today, you and God, you cannot fail. You can only fail if you choose to go there to do things by yourself. And we see this very clearly in the word of God. If you look at the story of the great prophet Moses, Moses was a man that God was using mightily. He knew the power of God. There was a time that Moses was leading people to the promised land. And Moses, very interestingly, he said to God, God, if your presence does not go with us, we will not leave this place. In other words, Moses was telling God, if you do not go with us, I will not lead these people. Even though Moses knew the power of God because he has experienced it before, he knew the presence of God, but he also knew that the devil was always looking around to where he's going to destroy. So he knew the power of God, what it can do, and he also knew the devil's strategy, how he can destroy things. So so Moses insisted. He said, God, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us. In other words, we will not go. I refuse to lead these people without your presence. Until what happened, God's presence did go with them, because Moses realized he cannot do things alone, because he knew that if he tries to do everything just alone, there was a chance that he was going to make a mistake or fail. That is why he insisted the presence of God to go with them. So this is what God is telling you today. If you do not want to fail in your life, in whatever situation that you're going through, in whatever that you have lost, if you want a restoration, and if you do not want to fail, you need God's presence in the scene. You need to call upon God. But however, if you are trying to do everything by your own mighty, by your own power, there is a possibility of 50-50 that you will fail. So stop being afraid of failing. You're only going to be afraid of failing if you're trying to do everything alone. But if you're trying to do things with God in it, you will not fail. So my dear friends, if this message has spoken to you, you can leave your comment under the description of this video. And also, I always say prayer is extremely important in our life. It's the bloodline of every child of God. You need prayer in every situation. So go ahead, download my Intention Prayer Blueprint Guide to help you to pray intentionally, prayers which brings answer, prayer which is going to be changing your life inside and out. So you can go ahead and download that blueprint to help you out. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and may God bless you. If you want to keep on receiving exclusive messages, you can also